once the surface is clean. So if you take a look over here, we've pulled off any grass that's going to impede on our work area. We want to do this right away. Here we've got concrete masonry patch kit here, and what we're going to do, we're going to go sideways to fill that gap. We're going to pull it across. And the key to this is we can't sand this. There's no sanding a masonry patch. And so as you see me, I load up too much that I want on, more than I want on here, and then pull it all off here. Because the last thing we want is big edges here. Right? We want it to look like it's never been patched, and the way you do that is by pulling off any excess. And so we'll go through and do all the cracks first thing here this morning. Otherwise it doesn't have enough time to dry. So again, I've got, you know, the patch here on my putty knife. I'm gonna scrape it sideways to fill those gaps. Pull it out of there. And this does need to be a priority right away. Otherwise you're not gonna be able to paint because this won't be dry. So, and again, we're trying to make it look like it hasn't been patched. We do not want to leave too much on there. Alright, if we look here, we've got some failed paint. In order to get a smooth surface at the end, we can either patch that or sand it. All you're gonna do is sand around the edges. And that way, at the point we go and paint this, it's gonna be a smooth, uniform surface. A lot of times if the paint is failing, this isn't necessarily a failure. This would be more of just a chip. But if it was failing, we would spot prime this prior to doing anything with the top coat. So we would come in, sand the failure, and then spot prime the area and make sure we hit that last, because this is going to still be drying for a little bit. All right, as we can see here, my partner has started cutting in. The thing that's always going to take the longest on floor coatings, whether it's a pool deck, garage floor, driveway, is the rolling. You also need to set yourself up to realize if we need more paint, we're not gonna find that out if we just cut first. So as my partner gets a few steps ahead of me, I'm gonna start rolling, and we're gonna make sure to obviously work from an area where we're gonna finish this walkway, and then continue from the front of the driveway all the way down. So at the point we finish, you know, we're at the vehicles, and we can walk on it again at the point it's dry to do our second coat. But we always want to kind of set ourselves up to where we don't have to walk on the wet surface to either cut it in or to roll it once we've put that first coat on. What I'm going to do here is, obviously I didn't roll too far in this direction to where I can't walk through. What we always do is we come here. I'm going to overlap my roller and the wet line to where I'm rolling out what was cut. We call it keeping a wet line. So there's one thing hasn't dried before the other thing has been wet. It's called keeping a wet line. So I'm going to overlap the two. Slow down. And we're going to work our way around, coming this way and out. Always keeping a wet line. If you take a look here, what we've done is, knowing what we fixed is going to take a little bit longer to dry, we've been able to roll a lot of the driveway without taking a long break to wait for this to dry. I've kind of rolled around it. Now once this is, you know, dry, I don't need to be able to walk right on it.
but it gave it another hour to dry without needing to take a long break. You can see here we finished the driveway. Big thing we always need to do, whether it's a pool floor, whatever the case may be, driveway, porch, we always have to, with any floor coating, put a wet paint, ribbon across, and then we always want to leave our sign. Reason for leaving the sign is it again shows that there's wet paint. You'll be surprised, people will walk through this. This signifies another wet paint sign here. So always, at any point we do a floor coating, we're always putting that tape up.